I am James Corbett, or also Accent of Sound. Ooh, that dance floor is delicious. Depending which, I don't know, what alias do you want me to be today? I mean, I've always played a bit of techno, but never really done anything with it. I am old enough to have people who were on the dance floor when I first started DJing, to have children come to the parties with them and meet me on the dance floor. That's so weird. I think definitely the psytrance culture has more of a underlying spiritual culture.
So, how did your music journey begin and when?
This is an embarrassing story, but I don't care. If we want to go way, way, way back to the very beginning, I just discovered rave music.
Do you think Aussies are psytrance junkies? Brother, please introduce yourself.
I am James Corbett, or also Accent of Sound, depending which, I don't know, what alias do you want me to be today? Psytrance?
Everything.
Everything. James Corbett, Psytrance, Accent of Sound, Techno.
So what do you reckon about the party so far? What about this backdrop? Fuck, this is like the first one I'm doing like that. This is fucking awesome.
Sound is phenomenal. It was really good. Both stages. Lucky enough to play on both stages, obviously, with both aliases, so I was able to hear how good both of them really are. They're really, really crisp, especially this main stage. Whew, that dance floor is delicious.
Well, that's great, man. So James Corbett is your real name and an artist name.
That's right. That's actually my real name.
And your second artist name, please repeat again.
Accent of Sound. So it's just the definition of rhythm.
What's the difference between your James Corbett artist name and Accent of Sound?
So James Corbett is basically my main project. That's psytrance. So generally from usually 143 BPM up to 146 is usually where I'm at. Just melodic, psychedelic trance. Whereas the Accent of Sound is a fairly new project. I mean, I've always played a bit of techno, but never really done anything with it. So Accent of Sound is really I don't really want to call it bush techno per se. There's definitely a 30% element of that, but melodic techno, bit of bush, bit of driving. Just depends what the dance floor is doing as to where I go, basically.
So how long has that project been going, the Accent of Sound?
Accent of Sound, probably about 5 years. James Corbett, about 20. This is the 21st year, actually. 21st year. I am old enough to have people who were on the dance floor when I first started DJing, to have children come to the parties with them and meet me on the dance floor. That's so weird.
Yeah, it must be weird, really. So how was it back then? How do you think the doof scene has changed since in this last 20 years? What do you think, where it's heading, and what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think, I guess in my earlier years, I was sort of more in the rave scene, and I think that was very prominent around Australia anyway. So I feel like the blur, so to speak, from the rave scene and everything that was all about has evolved into what the psytrance scene is now. So it is very peace, love, unity, respect, come as you are, be yourself, express yourself, and just party outside in nature. I think definitely the psytrance culture has more of a underlying spiritual culture. Not necessarily everybody that's here is spiritual, but there is that underlying concept, which I think adds a lot of good intentions and positivity to the parties.
Do you think Aussies are psytrance junkies?
Yes, definitely. I think in Europe, I reckon there's maybe a bigger presence of psytrance enthusiasts over there, but definitely in Australia, we do love our psytrance, and probably I would say the progressive is the dominant style of psytrance over here, which doesn't always work in my favour, playing full on, but no, we do love a good stomp on the dance floor, a good day boogie as well.
So how did your music journey begin and when?
Wow. Okay, that if we want to go way back to the very beginning, I was about 10 years old, and I was living in the UK at the time, and I remember staying up listening to basically late night radio, and that's when all of the electronic music was on. And I didn't know what I was listening to, but I liked it. And I was always, again, so uneducated. I was 10 years old and didn't really have anyone around me that was like fully into music like I was getting into. And I was just chasing that sound. And to begin with, I ended up getting, it's going to show my age, so cassette decks. So I had like a twin cassette deck. And I recorded from like those two onto like another cassette deck. I used to do like little mashups. So I'd be like, stop, play, I just do like fully mashups of like basically popular music. Again, I was 10, so I didn't really know what I was doing. But that was fun. And then I discovered actually what DJing was. And because there was a friend at high school actually whose brother was a DJ. And once I discovered what that was, I used to...
Sorry to interrupt you, what's the friend's name?
His name was Nathan. I've lost contact with him. I have no idea. If you're out there, Nathan, I hope you're well. Yeah, so like I just discovered like, rave music. To me it was trance, it was hard house, it was techno. I was staying up late night listening to Mix Up on Triple J. Was buying all of the magazines, just fantasizing about being a DJ and just, You know, this is an embarrassing story, but I don't care. You know, some people, like when they're little, they sing in front of the mirror. I was DJing in front of the mirror. Yes, that's true.
That's awesome, bro.
That was when I was a kid, obviously, but yeah.
So like DJing, what? Did you have like decks set up in front of the mirror, or how were you DJing?
No, pretty much just miming. I mean, and again, like I'm 11 years old, 12 years old or something by that time. But yeah, I bought my first turntable when I was 18. It was a 1200 Technics. I could only afford one at the time, so I bought one and a mixer. And I mixed from just a normal hi-fi CD player into that and just repeated that over and over again until I could afford the next deck. And that was so exciting because then I could just mix two records together and away we go.
So do you still mix vinyls or play?
At home, pretty much, just for fun. The gigs that I played, like I'm not playing the same music that I have on vinyl because that vinyl collection consists of hard house, hard trance, there's a bit of house, and there's some techno in there as well, maybe a little bit of breaks, but there's no psytrance in there. So yeah, basically I'm all psytrance and techno these days. Yeah.
Yes. So what do you think about DJing in general? When you were starting, obviously it was on vinyls. There was no USBs or anything like that, even no CDs. And now, where do you think? Do you like it? Where the technology, and are you embracing it? And what do you think?
Yeah, funnily enough, I've always been someone who's been late at adopting the new technology. So I remember when CDJs really took over, I was so resistant of that. I just wanted to play vinyl, and to be honest, it's because I didn't really understand the CDJs very well. Like I was actually more confident on vinyl than I was on CDs. And then I discovered how easy CDs are, and I was like, okay, this is good. That means I don't have to like carry 100 records upstairs into nightclubs again. So that evolution was fine. And then the transition from CDs to USBs was, I had trust issues with USBs because I thought with a CD, I can see if there's a problem with it. Because I had no idea what's going on inside a USB if it's broken. Now I trust USBs, the technology is obviously good, so I'm all for it. I'm all for like all the technology that makes, enables a DJ to do new things. Obviously like the whole sync button, that sort of stuff, not a huge fan of that myself, but I guess if you're going to utilize that so that you can do something else that's really cool, go for it. At the end of the day, as long as the crowd are having fun and you're able to tell a story and play a really good set, I honestly don't give a fuck. Can I swear?
So how many USBs are you currently carrying? Like with the track, like the set you were gonna play, how many backup sort of copies have you got with you?
3 is the magic number for me. So if for some reason the link cable doesn't work, there's one in each deck, and then I've got a spare one. Sometimes I bring more, but 3 was a magic one today.
Thank you. Good information. James, in terms of your so you Okay, so you got your decks and you became a DJ, and how was that going? And when did you decide that I also want to make my own music?
Well, I guess I started DJing, running my own parties. It's hard to get gigs back then. There was no social media, so you couldn't really be like, "Hey guys, look how many fake likes I've got on my SoundCloud." You had to do flyer drops. You had to make friends with everybody. You had to hustle. So yeah, that was quite a bit of a journey there. In terms of making my music, I've dabbled. I haven't released any of my own music. It's always been a bit of an interesting thing for me because I really love the art of DJing and performing to a crowd, and I find it hard to have the discipline to stay in a studio like all day every day to tweak a kick and do all these things. I still am working on music. I'm building a new house at the moment, and there will be a dedicated studio in there, so there will be music coming. But I've always sort of found myself, just as I'm about to go into it, something pulls me away, and I'm so busy with doing the DJing, running events, running my own podcast as well. And that's where my passion is. I don't know. I just do what makes me feel good. And at the end of the day, I think some people do production because it gets them better gigs, and I'm really happy with the gigs that I'm getting. So for me, I'm performing, I'm doing everything I love, I'm happy. But probably as I start to slow down a little bit, which I feel I am now, I can't do the 4-day weekends at festivals now. Like even today, this event goes 2 or 3 days. I'm basically here for the afternoon, and I'm going back home to cuddle my girlfriend. Like.
Fair enough, man. Well, thanks for your company and your set this short period of time.
Absolute pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I always feel full after a set. It's like a healing experience for me.
So are you pretty sort of now heading the next couple of months ahead? Pretty booked out with gigs and all that?
Yeah, pretty exciting. Couple of months ahead. Have Esoteric is the next festival I have in the lineup. There was supposed to be my own brand science fiction 10th birthday, which has been postponed so many times. That is in Adelaide. It's going to be postponed again, but that'll happen at some point. And then I've got Dragon Dreaming Festival, and then Nick's Festival up in Cairns. So yeah, it's looking good. I'm excited. It's just a nice solid party every month for the next 6 months. That's good.
Awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about your podcast? I'm not very familiar with it. How long have you been doing it, and what format it is?
So Science Lab, I originally created it just after COVID sort of hit and everyone was in proper confinement, and it was initially on Bondi Radio, and that was a weekly gig. It's basically Psytrance with an interview, and I basically pulled it from Bondi Radio because I realized having a show on a radio station where everyone has to listen to it at a specific time doesn't really work in today's world. So for me, I wanted to just basically set it up, put it on SoundCloud, and have everybody listen to it whenever they want. So the structure is, I do it every 2 months. I interview 2 artists, one international, one local, and have a guest mix from one of them. And other than that, share new music, new releases from around Australia and the globe of progressive and full-on psytrance. So it's been good. Had some amazing guests on there recently. We've had the current one. We've had Mechanica and Foul Owl local act, and Ace Ventura and Luna, Starlab, Miss Jade. Who else have I had on there? Mad Max, Volkeen, Nicky S. Yeah, there's been a lot. Menog. Yeah. I've forgotten a few. There's been 8 episodes so far. So
it's only sound?
Yeah, only sound, not visual. Well, actually, the first few episodes I did, I was actually doing psychedelic visuals with it as well. So there's a YouTube version so that you could just watch it and trip out and just enjoy some pretty animations. But that just became way too much work for me on my own. So it would basically take almost a month to do that. So there's every second month I get some free time, which was just not going to work for me. So.
And it is also only on SoundCloud?
Only on SoundCloud. I find it just works. People know what SoundCloud is. I keep it simple. I may branch out. I'm considering putting it on something like Spotify, but I'm not too keen on Spotify and what they're doing at the moment. So I'm just watching that space at the moment.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about my podcast. There are these other, like you subscribe to like a website, and then it's sort of like a distribution to other like applications for podcasting apps.
Yes. Yeah. And it puts it onto like 5 different casting apps at the same time. Yeah, that stuff's really good as well. Yeah.
I'm thinking about that as well to do it. Bro, so nice meeting you in person. So nice talking to you. I wish you all the best with your podcast, with your organizing events, with your playing, and I look forward to meeting you soon again. Hopefully that's going to be Dragon Dreaming, I hope. So thanks very much.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother. Thank you for having me on the show, and good luck with your show too.
Thank you. And guys, also check out other interviews on Solid Professor Music with other cool artists. Stay tuned. Peace. Stay tuned. Peace.
Okay, awesome. Good interview, man. You're good at the questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like when I interview my artists as well. I have like a very relaxed sort of conversational